Welcome everyone to this briefing brought to you by the Israel Defense and Security Forum, IDSF. It's a great pleasure to be joined once again by Lieutenant Colonel Gidi Harari. Gidi, thank you so much for sitting with me today.
Thank you very much, Moshe, for inviting me.
Absolutely. Gidi, you are an expert on many issues of Israel's national security, and one in particular is our northern border and everything that is happening in Lebanon with Hezbollah. So maybe you can share with us the latest update on the status of this ongoing war, because we're still at war with Hezbollah, and what is happening right now.
Yes, actually, this week we are counting 1 year since the ceasefire and the agreement that was signed between Israel, the United States, and the state of Lebanon. And we are a bit disappointed of what is going on, and it seems to be that also the United States is a bit disappointed, because till today the Lebanese government didn't succeed in deploying the plan that was agreed in during the ceasefire. Actually, what was agreed is that the Lebanese government will disarm Hezbollah in a way that Hezbollah will remain as a political party in Lebanon, but will not be able to use arms, or will not be able to maintain their military power, and this is not happening. And the second thing is that the Lebanese government didn't succeed to take over the civil duties as a government in South Lebanon. What I mean is that the people in South Lebanon still are depending in Hezbollah for all their civil services that they are getting, and are supposed to get it from the Lebanese government. For example, all the issue of health, all the issue of economics, markets, food, and even the security. There is no police in South Lebanon. Everything is in the hands of Hezbollah. And as long as the Lebanese government, together with the Lebanese army, will not deploy the Lebanese army till in the south of Lebanon, or better said, all over Lebanon, not only in south of Lebanon, also in the Bekaa Valley in the north, which is also some kind of a Shiite autonomy. So as long as the Lebanese government and the army does not deploy all over Lebanon and take over all the missions that should be taken by the government, civil and security, Hezbollah will not disappear. And the Lebanese government should provide something that will come instead of Hezbollah, that can serve the local people, and it's not happening. It's not happening for two reasons. The first one, and the most important one, is that the Lebanese army is not strong enough to deploy, or actually to force Hezbollah to give up its arms or its military capabilities. And Hezbollah doesn't want to give it up, because the raison d'etre of Hezbollah is still what they call defending the Lebanese territory. And this is, it's a lie, because we stopped the war. Israel is left Lebanon. We have only 5 strategic lookouts of the Israeli army along the border inside the Lebanese territory, about 200 meters from the international border, and we are not leaving them until the Lebanese army will take them instead of us, and it's not happening. And even the American envoy for Lebanon, which is Tom Barak, the ambassador in Turkey, he came to Lebanon, I think yesterday, presenting the Lebanese government that they are not fulfilling their duty in the agreement. Now, Israel, by the way, in the agreement, the United States agreed with Israel that we will keep on preventing from Hezbollah to renewing their military force since the ceasefire. And they are trying to renew it. They are trying to deploy their forces to the south. And actually, every day we are attacking Hezbollah all over Lebanon, in order to prevent them from coming back to the south and renewing their positions in Lebanon, in Beirut, in the Bekaa Valley, in order to prevent them to manufacture again rockets, to renew their military capabilities. And the main issue that the main operation that we did a few days ago, it was attacking and eliminating the commander-in-chief of the military commander-in-chief of Hezbollah in Beirut. That actually also the American authorities was looking for him since many years ago, and there is a $5 million on his head by the American government. So we eliminated him. But the issue is that a year ago we signed an agreement, and the Lebanese government cannot deliver it. And we are very close that the Israeli government will need to take a decision, to take an action against Lebanon, better said against Hezbollah, in order to bring them to give up their their military capabilities. And this means to renew the military operation and to maneuver with boots on the ground inside Lebanon. It's not something that we are looking forward to it, but it looks that we don't have any other measure in order to make Hezbollah to give up. And the Lebanese president announced that he is willing, and he thinks that he needs to do it, to start a negotiation with Israel, a formal negotiation with Israel for peace between Lebanon and Israel. But he cannot do it because he is not strong enough to stand against Hezbollah. So again, we find ourselves that we need to do the job for the Lebanese, instead that the Lebanese will fight for themselves. And this was not, it's not meant to be like that.
Now, Gidi, let me ask you a question. If you take a look at the flag of Hezbollah, I think it really speaks for itself, right? The flag of Hezbollah is a gun being held in a fist with an image of a number of things, including a globe. And it would seem to be very clear that the function, the purpose, the essence of Hezbollah is military armed terroristic conquest of the globe. It's not about defending the rights of the Lebanese. It's about military terrorist action. So for
I
us to
totally
kind of
agree
say,
with you.
well, we hope they'll reform, they'll change, they'll disarm. Their very core is to fight. Is it even possible that there can be any realistic expectation that what they've been doing for the past 40 years will change because we or the world asked them nice enough?
No. The simple answer is no. Because Hezbollah actually, they are a proxy from the Iranian Revolutionary Guards. And if you will see the flag of the Iranian Revolutionary Guards, it's similar to the flag of Hezbollah. Actually, Hezbollah is similar to them because the idea is to export the Islamic Shiite revolution all over the world. This is the basic of the Iranian regime which Hezbollah is presenting to the world. Hezbollah is not an organization that was established in order to defend Lebanon. It's an organization that was established to export the Iranian revolution through outside to the world. The first and most closed enemy of this regime, of the Iranian regime, is Israel. As they call us, we are the little devil, and the United States is the big devil. This is the issue. They are not giving up without someone using force against them. Now, I sadly find myself saying it that we are fighting not our private fight. We are fighting the fight of Europe and the United States. And you know what? Also South America. Look at Venezuela. Venezuela today, there is an Iranian base in Venezuela. They are production of arms in Venezuela. Hezbollah today is one of the biggest cartels, the biggest narco traffic cartel of the world. They are narco trafficking from South America to all over the world drugs. So it's not only our issue. The truth is that we are the closest. We are the first row. But it's a problem of all of us.
And it seems right now that Israel's strategy with Hezbollah is to eliminate their leadership, right? We saw phenomenal success in that earlier on in this war, and now we just saw that again. Is that strategy enough just to continue to target their leaders, or does Israel need to really become more aggressive to suppress them from being a future threat?
The strategy of eliminating their leaders, it's not enough. Because we've seen that we eliminated Nasrallah himself and all the leadership of Hezbollah, and they renew it. It's not, there is no vacuum, and everyone has his replacement. But we are very aggressive now, but we are aggressive through our Air Force. And And I'm very sorry to say that we might need to act much more aggressively by fighting boots on the ground inside Lebanon. And this is not something that we would like it to happen, but we need to fight now in order to secure our future.
You know, when you think about the days after October 7th, with all of the horrors and atrocities that happened, it was not a given that Israel was going to put boots on the ground, even in Gaza, after what Hamas did. So I'm wondering, to go back and to have another war in Lebanon, boots on the ground, would seemingly be terribly unpopular amongst the Israeli public. What do you think it would need to take in order to push through that type of decision?
I think that if you will ask the people that live in the north, they will tell you that they are ready to suffer again a war in order to get security for the future. And even the soldiers that are serving, the reserve soldiers that are serving here in the border, you can hear them saying, we understand that we haven't finished our mission and we need to finish with Hezbollah once and for all, because Hezbollah is a much bigger threat than Hamas. Much bigger threat than Hamas. And Iran is, of course, a big issue here. Sadly, we didn't finish the job in Iran. And in Iran, yes, we need the United States to help us.
Now, in terms of a more widespread boots on the ground war with Hezbollah, is there the ability to destroy Hezbollah and then change Lebanon? Meaning, when you look at Gaza, there is this understanding that even if Hamas is destroyed, or when Hamas is destroyed, you still have this overwhelming ideology of the Gazan people who hate Israel. But is Lebanon different? Meaning, if Hezbollah were actually removed totally from power and they were destroyed militarily, is there a chance that the rest of the Lebanese people could eventually come to terms with the state of Israel?
First of all, yes, because the people in Lebanon, most of them, even the Sunni Muslims, the Druze community and the Christian community in Lebanon, they are looking for peace, living in peace, renewing their country after more than 60 years of civil war and war with Israel and war between themselves and the Syrians coming into Lebanon in 1976. And so there is a lot to do in Lebanon, and the people are fed up from a prosperous country like Lebanon getting to a country that you are looking for food, you don't have water enough, and you don't have electricity for more than 8 hours a day. The issue is not between Lebanon and Israel. The issue is between the Lebanese regime and Hezbollah, which is an organization that wants to rule Lebanon and is a proxy of Iran. So I don't think that Israel should be the one that will bring the replacement of or actually destroying Hezbollah and helping the Lebanese to get back power on themselves. I wouldn't like to do it. I think that the Lebanese should fight against Hezbollah and they should do this job. We can help them, but we are not going to do their job instead of them.
Now, Hezbollah, as you've mentioned, is a proxy of Iran. So long as Iran is funding and supporting Hezbollah, can they even be destroyed? I mean, if Israel were to wipe out every last fighter, every last terrorist in Lebanon, and the Lebanese army were to really be active against Hezbollah, but Iran is constantly in the background seeking ways to rebuild them. So is it almost a exercise in futility until Iran is eliminated as an enemy?
First of all, you cannot kill the last Hezbollah terrorist in Lebanon. This is not something that can happen. Of course, that there are two things that should be done. First of all, is fight military against Hezbollah. The other thing that should be done, and it's not done good enough, is to close the ability of Iran to send money to Hezbollah. It's not easy to do it because it's done in very clever ways, but it should be done, and it's not being done. And of course, eliminating the Ayatollah's regime in Iran, it should be done too, because if in Iran the regime will be changed, it will be a very big issue in the fighting for Hezbollah. But this Israel cannot do alone. And apparently the American regime doesn't want to do it today. And the Europeans, of course, the big talkers, but doing a very little thing. So I don't see how we can change the Iranian regime today. It should come from inside. The days that we thought, like in Vietnam or in Afghanistan, that we can come as a power, Israel, the United States, Russia, or the French in Algeria or in other places. These days that someone from outside can come and put a new regime in another country, it cannot happen. It cannot happen. We can help, but it should become from the inside. The people inside the country need to fight their fight against Hezbollah or against the Ayatollah's regime in Iran. It should come from inside. It needs to be helped by another power from outside, but it should come from inside.
Absolutely, Lieutenant Colonel Gidi Harari, thank you so much for sharing all of that. Thank you for joining me on this briefing. And we must have you back on a future briefing to talk about another project that you are involved in, which is keeping the Galil safe, keeping businesses in the Galil safe. So we're going to have you back. We're going to have a whole other briefing talking about the security, not outside of Israel, but in the northern part of Israel. So thank you for all that you do and for sharing that with our viewers. Thank you to all of our viewers and supporters for tuning into this briefing. We will be back with you next week. We're going on a little bit of a vacation for Thanksgiving. We will be back with you next week, Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. here in Israel. Until then, stay safe, stay strong. Take care, everyone.